Okay, we're gonna get started. So what you're gonna need is a pen, paper, um, some water, definitely, and get in a comfy position because we're gonna do, once I finish talking, we're gonna go through um, a little like visualization practice and some EFT tapping and touch on some moon rituals to use within this new moon energy. Okay, so I'll give you a couple seconds to do that. And okay, yeah, so we're going to utilize the new moon energy and work on manifesting big things, set intentions, and really start attracting things that we want in life. I'm just going to minimize this. All right, so what I'm going to do is start with like a brief overview of the mind and body connection to EFT and why it's such a great tool for manifesting. Um, and we're going to break through any blocks that we can recognize from now until the next part of this class. So this is like a two-part moon magic class. So this one, obviously, we're focusing on the new moon. The next one, we're going to focus on the full moon, which I believe I set for March 6th. So from now until then, we're just going to try and recognize the things that might come up for us within once we write down our goals and manifestations. We're going to figure out from now until then, like I mentioned, with the things that might be coming up as blocks for us, things that are stopping us from creating this reality of our dreams. So if you are all comfy, we're going to get started. I'm going to pull a few things from my ebook that I actually created called Tapping Through Stress and Anxiety. I'm in the middle of updating it, so I thought it'd be a nice time to kind of share a little bit of that content. And I did actually have um, a diagram to show you and get more descriptive, but I might be able to maybe like send it out through an email because it's not going to let me share my screen. But that's okay. So we're going to start with talking about manifestation power. So one thing that I found interrupts our manifestation power is stress and anxiety. Conscious or subconscious, we have the stress and the trauma. It is present. And if you're like me, it's the cause of self sabotage. When you are intentionally working towards a goal, you need to focus on you. It is so important to really have boundaries set in stone and connect with yourself and your intuition. And since we live in this like hyper driven society, the air is just filled with stress. It's very easy to become overwhelmed and overstimulated, overtired, and reaching a big goal or manifestation takes longer because we get distracted and start to lose focus. So the stress of things like needing to make money, obviously, to pay rent, the stress of that creeps in. And suddenly these big things that you're manifesting gets put on hold. All your dreams get put on hold because they just aren't important as making rent that month, right? Uh, we tend to lose focus on what makes us happy and really embody that overstimulated, overtired, overwhelmed version of ourselves. And we're being held back by limiting beliefs and stress. I've been there. I get it. Some of you might have also been there and get it. um, but I've also had moments where I'm able to pass it and actually attract what I want. And I'm not perfect. I'm still working on some blocks, but I have seen some of my manifestations come to life. So I just want to tell you a little story. Yeah, see, some people get it. High five for self sabotage. Yeah, these things happen, and it's just the way that like our society works. We're just like I mentioned, we're in that like hyperdrive mode where we have to be able to have that income, and a lot of our dreams take a little bit of time for us to work to get that income, right? So, some of my manifestation stories. A few years ago, I was living in my parents' basement with my boyfriend while I went back to school. It wasn't like a separate apartment or anything special. We still shared a kitchen with my parents upstairs. I did laundry upstairs. It was a roof over my head. And my parents were extremely helpful in every way possible. And I'm very grateful for them to be able to help us out. Once I finished school, I really just wanted to get a job and be able to move out. It didn't end up happening. I didn't have the means to go and find myself a place. My boyfriend and I, we just weren't in that position at the time. Um, so I kept looking anyways. I went on like Facebook Marketplace, looked for basement apartments, or I actually didn't want to live in a basement apartment, but I was looking at other basement apartments that were a little bit more functional than where I was. And while I was doing that, I fell into like a rabbit hole of looking at my dream house. It was just I was like fantasizing my dream house. If I could choose where I wanted to live without any restraints, this is what I would want. During that time, I started doing a lot of inner work, and I really learned how to use the law of attraction, while also surrendering to the flow of the universe and really allowing myself to feel worthy of receiving abundance. That was the biggest thing, was working on the way I viewed myself. So I'm doing this inner work. Totally started like manifesting, living in this dream house, just my boyfriend and I. And we had lots of space. We had like a big yard. We had, all these little things. And I even like changed the background on my phone. This is a really good manifestation tip, by the way. I changed the background of my phone to exactly what I wanted. I found a house in the area that was for sale, and I looked through it. I screenshot it. It was like, I think it was like $5 million or something. I screenshot it, set it as my phone, as my background on my phone. Within a few weeks, I got a call from a family member asking if I could house sit while they went away. And I got to live there for 8 months. And it was just the timing of that was so perfect for where I was in my life. And I was continuously like manifesting moving out of the basement into a home. That's what I was manifesting. Moving out of my basement into a house just for us. And then this opportunity fell into my lap. And again, I'm very grateful. When the family member came back from the trip, I continued to receive from the universe. I currently live in a home right now that I again believe that I manifested. The timing again worked out perfectly and just really fell into place. So, what I did was open the channel of receiving abundance because I made a change around what I think about myself. I cleared some trauma blocks and worked on my inner confidence. And the most important thing that I did was tune into my intuition and learn to trust something bigger that wasn't in front of me. Another story I have, I manifested like literally I manifested food, like food from the grocery store. So I had set an intention for myself 1 month that I wanted to improve my health. I wrote out how I wanted to improve my health, the things I wanted to be eating. I wanted to be eating like mostly fruits and vegetables. Um, at this time, I was kind of like hemming and hawing about going vegetarian or vegan. I ended up being vegetarian for a while, but at that time, I was I had wrote down everything that I wanted to do to build on my health. I wanted fresh, local fruits and vegetables from farms, organic, healthy foods, all that stuff. And within, I think, like a week or so, my next door neighbor at my parents' house where I was living, the next door neighbor came to our front door with boxes. I think it was like 2 boxes of fresh fruit and I think it was mostly fresh fruit. There was a little bit of vegetables, mostly fresh fruit. He said, "Do you guys like mangoes?" And I was like, "Yeah, we freaking love mangoes. Mangoes are great." He's like, "I have a whole case of mangoes and all of this other fresh fruit and vegetables. Do you want it?" I'm like, Of course I do. Thank you. Why do you have this?" And he said, I forget I think his dad owns some type of delivery service and had some extra fruits and vegetables that were given to him that they weren't able to consume within the time that they needed to consume them. So he ended up giving them to us. And I literally had these fresh fruits and vegetables in front of me. And when I got that, I was like, wow, this is actually working. Like, how did I got all these fresh fruits and vegetables and I didn't have to pay for them. That was like the biggest thing too, was that I didn't need to spend the crazy amounts of money that these healthy foods are right now, but I didn't need to buy them because I just attracted them. And I thought that was really cool. And obviously we um repaid him like with gratitude. We gave him some other stuff in payment. But it was just really beautiful how I had set an intention for myself to be healthier, changed my mindset around it, and then I literally attracted what I needed. Um, so those are my 2 biggest, most memorable manifestation stories. And, yeah, I'm just looking in the chat, Leanna did that with me, just kidding. Yeah, I think she did Mario. She did do that with her Jeep, though, that was pretty cool. Leanna had set her my sister had sent her background of her phone to a Jeep. And within a couple of weeks, she got a call from someone she was talking to, and they're like, "Hey, we have a Jeep," and it was literally the same color of the picture that she posted. So it was really cool how that all worked out. So within this year, I'm going to be moving again, and I'm currently manifesting our next home, and I'm manifesting it to be more magical than the last 2 times I did it. And a little bit more long term this time. The first time was about 8 months I lived in the house. This time it's gonna be like a year and a bit. So I'm manifesting more long term. And the way I kind of see myself like doing this kind of work is like I have this magic wand that I'm just learning how to use, and my spells are working great, but they need to be more they need more support for longevity, so that's what I'm working on, and I wanted to invite you along so that we can learn to use our wands together and really learn how to manifest. So, the 3 from those stories, the 3 biggest things that I learned, um, that really helped me bring my dreams to reality. Number 1 was that I believed I was a part of a bigger picture. I truly believe that we all have this energy, we all own an energy inside of us connected to source or God or mother goddess, whatever you choose to call it. It's a power source. It's a power energy source. You have that energy within you, and any situation that arises that seems to disrupt your day was put there for a reason. Most times it's a lesson and it can be big or small. When we look at anxiety, it comes from worrying about the future. So thinking of like the next step instead of pausing and actually soaking in the present moment. When I learned how to focus on the present moment and really trust that I was divinely protected, I was able to ask my guides to lift my worries from my shoulders, and they did. I fully surrendered this part of myself and really just allowed it to flow. I gave up control, and that's when I found peace, was just giving up control, surrendering to this bigger picture. That's where I found inner peace. The second thing I learned was to minimize the importance of it. So I just decided simply that I didn't want to allow anxiety and stress to have power over me anymore. I recognized that these things I believed were stressful in my life weren't actually my beliefs. And it was more of a projection that I had from society trying to make me feel like I wasn't good enough or didn't deserve these beautiful gifts from God. And I'd put myself into a victim mentality without really even realizing it until I did the work. So when I was able to really sit down and listen to myself, eliminate all negativity, any negative things that were put into my head, I found that the anxious feeling, the worry, the stress, it wasn't coming from my truth. Because I know that my truth is worthy of really big, beautiful things from the universe. I know that I have the ability to create my own reality. And when I trust in the universe, that's when it happens. Because I'm part of a bigger picture and the stress that I had, the things I was stressing over were so minuscule when you really minimize the importance of it and put yourself in this bigger picture. Like imagining a pin in like a haystack. That's how you have to minimize yourself, right? There's so many more things that are just bigger than what you're stressing over right now. Not saying that it's not valid, but it does just help you to understand a little bit of like where it's coming from. So the third thing that I learned was to connect to the universe and wholeheartedly trust my path. There were so many times where I felt so lost and asking myself like why did this happen to me? Why can't I figure out who I am? Why can't I have nice things? What do I do now? And when I analyzed where I was in my life and was able to listen to my intuition, what I heard was you are where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be here. These lessons, you are learning these lessons. There's patterns that you need to break and people that you need to meet before you can move on. So I was really able to just slow down, depict the lesson that was being taught, and apply it to my life. That was the most important part. You can address and notice if there's a lesson, but you have to correct and move on from that lesson. So that's what I did. And I saw it as like a second chance to try a different approach. So, how can I alter this outcome? What should I be doing instead? And where does my heart feel at home? Those were the questions I started asking myself. Those three big lessons showed me a different perspective on my life, and I continued to apply them. And I feel like I elevated a lot since then. And tonight, you are here with me under the new moon energy, learning about my manifestation stories, but also learning about EFT and how we can use EFT to manifest because it's such a powerful tool. And we're here together because one day I just decided that, I didn't want stress and anxiety to control me. I decided I wanted to understand myself better, connect with my intuition, and trust myself wholeheartedly. So the theme that I found with manifesting, the two biggest components to my manifestations were trust and gratitude. So I truly believe that those are like the fundamentals of manifesting, in my opinion. So I want to help you build trust within yourself and help you open up this channel of abundance and confidence by clearing the old and welcoming the new. So let's just talk a little bit about gratitude. I think that trust and gratitude, sorry. So I think that trust gets blocked by really big negative emotions that are related to limiting beliefs and past experiences. So if you think back, if someone broke your trust by making you feel unsafe or bad in any way, it's going to feel really hard to trust another person, let alone trusting yourself. And it's really important to rebuild that trust with yourself and make some time to take a step towards trusting yourself. And one way we can do that is just understanding our thoughts and where they come from. And gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational emotions that you can feel. Genuine gratitude is so full of pure love, and practicing that little bit of gratitude every day in the most present way possible is one of the most powerful practices in magic. So tonight we're going to use a round of EFT to bring in some gratitude and use our affirmations to bring in gratitude into our body and banish negative energetic blocks. So anyone that is on this call that hasn't really worked with me before and doesn't know what EFT is short for emotional freedom technique, or it's also referred to as tapping. So this technique is actually rooted in something called TFT. TFT is thought field therapy, and that focuses on your thoughts and intentions to move energy through your body and help your brain through the stress response of fight or flight, which I'm going to get into right now. So with EFT, we tap on a circuit of points. I'll go through the points as well. We tap on a circuit of points along our meridian system. And by doing this, with the combination of speaking out loud and tapping, we're redirecting our thoughts and clearing energy paths with tapping and sending signals to our brains that we're not in danger. So that's how EFT helps with the stress response. Um, like I mentioned before, I had a little bit of a diagram, but I can't really show it to you right now. So I'm gonna be as descriptive as I can. So the first thing that happens in our brain, this is the process that our brain goes through when we become stressed. So the first thing that happens is that we take in information. When we take in information, our part of our brain called the amygdala scans this data for any threats. Once the data is scanned, another part called the thalamus relays sensory information to the brain. So the thalamus is also reviewing the sensory information, and the amygdala and the cortex start to process it. So the cortex is the part of your brain that does all the like analytical thinking. The amygdala is the emotional headquarters. So the amygdala is responsible for those unreasonable reactions to a stressful situation. It usually initiates the fight, or freeze response, flee as well, and completely takes over your brain. So when this happens, the frontal lobe, the cortex part that's responsible for all your cognitive skills, it gets completely ignored. So it's if you think about like a kid when they have a temper tantrum and you cannot reason with them, it's literally because their frontal cortex is on pause and the amygdala is taking over. It's causing the emotional response. So the next thing that happens is that the hippocampus, another part of the brain that's in this circuit, stores records of the experience. It also releases a hormone to notify your pituitary gland that your body's unsafe. So when we are experiencing something good or stressful, your brain takes that information and stores it, and it's able to refer back to it every single day. So when your brain recognizes a certain situation, a feeling, a place, an emotion, or a person, it can associate it with a past experience in order to figure out if we are safe or not. So once the amygdala decides that the situation is not safe, there's a whole switch that turns, the sirens go off, and nothing else matters. It alerts the entire body that you're in danger, and the body reacts in so many ways to protect itself. So once the hippocampus goes through storing the memory, it releases its hormone to the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland regulates hormone activity within other organs and your glands, including your adrenal glands. So, your adrenal glands are above your kidneys and they produce cortisol and adrenaline, as well as other hormones and steroids. And cortisol has multiple duties within the body, but its main job is to regulate your body's stress response. So some symptoms of stress response include like muscle tension, um, restricted and heavy breathing, heightened blood sugar levels. Your body's always trying to protect itself, and it is incredibly smart. Heightening your blood sugar feeds your body with an energy boost to fuel the fight or flight. It's like you're producing your own energy drink to from adrenaline to provide sustainability through a hard situation. So usually the increase in cortisol lasts for like a few hours, and it's naturally going to lower once your body feels like it's no longer threatened. But if you are producing too much cortisol, or it gets produced over a long period of time, your body shows symptoms of chronic stress, which is things that lower your immune system. Things like gaining weight, having a lot of anxiety, things like acne, any kind of disease, high blood pressure, feeling really fatigued. Those are all symptoms of chronic stress caused from an overproduction of cortisol. So, those are symptoms that are big symptoms, and they also determine your confidence levels, right? So, if you're feeling tired one day or upset about your weight gain or acne, your whole vibe becomes negative. You just feel really low, really down, right? Which really steps on your manifesting toes. You need to be in a high vibe to attract things. It's a big circle, comes full circle. So what can we do? What can you do to manage your stress? What can you do to build your confidence? And what can you do to build your trust? Well, the first thing that I did was create a change in how you approach it. So maybe what you're currently doing needs more support. Create a change, add something new to support your stress management, your manifestations, and your nervous system so that you can embody a magnetic version of yourself and live in your truth and your happiness. So, this is why I decided to do bring in EFT around the new moon, because we want to bring in change. We want to create intentions and start a ripple effect of change within our life. So, we're going to use EFT to work through the anxiety of change, and then we'll bring in gratitude to create a new environment for our thoughts. EFT not only helps regulate emotions and calm your stress response, but it also works instantly and creates a ripple of change. So we're going to start with a few rounds. We're going to do one round of negative, one round of positive, and then our gratitude round. So if you want to take a moment to get comfortable, grab some water. Once we do a couple of rounds of EFT, it's actually fairly normal to feel tired, um, to need a little bit more hydration because you're actually moving energy and releasing things in your body. So it does have a little bit of an effect. And I'm just going to go over the points. So the points we're going to go through, we're going to start on the side of our hand here. This is referred to as the karate chop point. It's the psychological reversal point. This is our karate chop point. So this is where we're going to start and end. The next point is going to be the eyebrow, right at the front of the eyebrow, and then the side of the eye, right here. And then we're going to go under the eye, and then under the nose, under the chin, collarbone, side of our arm, right under your armpit area. And then we're going to go to the top of our head. This is a little bit of a different rhythm than what I normally do, but it all works the same. So eyebrow, side of eye, under nose, under lip, collarbone, your side here, and then top of the head. So just get comfortable, and what you're gonna do is tap where I tap and repeat what I say. and we're working through anxiety about change. So before we tap, I like to get started just by connecting to the body. So I'll just get you to place your hand right over your heart. And we're going to take 2 deep breaths. And as you inhale, I want you to be able to feel the rise and fall of your breath. Really connect to that movement, okay? So we'll just get comfy. Okay, you can close your eyes and take a deep inhale and exhale. And one more. Okay, and starting on a karate chop point, you can use one finger, you can use 2 fingers, you can use both hands, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm gonna just use one hand. So we'll start on a karate chop. Even though I don't feel safe enough to change right now, I still accept myself. Even though I'm not willing to dig deep and clear out those issues, I'm accepting myself and that this is where I am. Even though I now know that I have reasons why it doesn't feel okay to change, I'm open to accepting myself and those feelings. Okay, so the eyebrow. I don't want to talk about change. I don't even want to tap about change. I just want to be left alone. But it's not comfortable being where I am. It's scary to look at this. I'm not sure I'm willing to do it. Okay. I'm not sure it's safe to do this. And top of the head. I get pretty anxious just talking about change. Just take a deep breath. So that was our negative round, and we're just going to add in a positive round to switch the energy in. So, how EFT works is bringing up the negative. You have to address the negative to be able to pass it and work through it and let it go. So, we brought up some negative things about change and having anxiety about change. And now we're going to throw in a positive round to start to change our perception of it and bring in that move around the energy of that and kind of like disintegrate those blocks that are within our meridian system. So just take one deep breath. And we'll just jump right into the eyebrow. There are some things that I'm ready to change. Side of your eye. Maybe I'm more ready than I thought. What if I really start to like the changes that I'm making? What if I'm already making small changes and it's easier than I thought? I wonder what changed. That's making it so easy for me to decide that it's okay to start making changes now. Okay. If you feel any different, sometimes I get a little bit lightheaded. Sometimes my throat gets a little bit tight when I go through one round of each. I will do sometimes just a little bit more of the negative to just bring it up. I usually do like 2 rounds of the negative and then a couple rounds of the positive. But anything like tightness in your throat, any fatigue, lightheadedness, needing water, needing to hydrate, those are all normal things. We're going to add in a round of gratitude, and we're going to change up the wording at the beginning. We'll start on our karate chop point again and just do one round of gratitude affirmations. Okay. So again, just take a deep breath. And start on the karate chop. Now that I am open to change, I can learn to fully love myself. Now that I am rebuilding trust, I can forgive myself. Now that I'm okay with change, I fully love, forgive, and accept myself. And we're going to start on the top of our head this time. I am so grateful I chose to do this tonight. In our brow. My heart is so full of gratitude. Gratitude is my fuel. I trust my path. I trust my intuition. I deserve to receive my gifts from the universe. I empower myself through love. And the side, I am overflowing with gratitude. And we're going to end it on our karate chop point here. Tonight, I reclaim my power and rebuild my self trust. I am comfortable with creating change because I know that I deserve happiness. I am overflowing with gratitude. Take a deep breath. Okay, if anybody wants to like write in the chat if they feel how they feel, that you're welcome to do that. You don't have to. So now that we kind of like went over manifesting and how EFT works with stress and how we need to reduce stress in order to manifest, I hope that you can take that tool to utilize with you every day. I also have a little practice set up. So, nice. Lena says, I feel relieved and lighter. Beautiful. So, grab your pen or and your journal or your paper, and we're gonna write a few things down. Anna says, I can't stop yawning. That's great, actually. That's a good symptom because it's your body really feeling the energy moving around and, trying to get the oxygen throughout your whole body. So that's good. Yawning is normal. So just grab your pen and paper or your journal. And I want you to write down the following categories. We're going to start working on our manifestations and goal setting. So write down the following categories: personal growth, work and career, relationships, money, lifestyle and possessions, and leisure and travel. I'll write it in the chat too so you have it. So personal growth. I didn't mean to send that one. Okay, personal growth, work and career, relationships, money, lifestyle, and possessions, and then leisure and travel. So write those on your paper. And I want you to keep in mind your current life situation in those areas. but write a few points for each category on things that you would like to have, things that you'd like to change or improve. Anything that comes to mind, don't think too much about it. We're not going to spend too much time here. Just quickly write down like one or two things of each one that comes to mind that you'd like to have, change, or improve. Then on another section, either below it, beside it, on a different piece of paper, whatever you want to do, you are going to you're going to write this sentence. If I could be, do, and have everything I want, this would be my ideal situation. Okay. So this is on your new piece of paper, your new section on that piece of paper, whatever you want to do. You're going to write, if I could be, do, and have everything that I want, this would be my ideal situation. Once you have that written out, right below it, you're going to write those 6 categories again: your personal growth, work and career, relationships, money, lifestyle and possessions, leisure and travel. Write those below that sentence. I'll give you a second. So, in point form, I want you to describe your ideal situation. So, on this new piece of paper in this new area, you have those 6 topics, so 6 points in your life, and I want you to write the most ideal thing for each one. They can just be point form from now, but I would recommend after this call to go back and write a few sentences about them being as descriptive as possible. This is like your goal, right? This is your most ideal situation. Get very very descriptive with it in a few sentences, and so you can further expand and have more clarity on them. So once you're done with those points, you're going to add one more category. This next category is going to be the world situation and environment. So world situation and environment. Environment. Okay. I think I spelled that right. Okay, so that's your next category. So if you had the power to do absolutely anything to change or enhance your living experience in any way that you could serve others or be closer to nature, what would that look like? For me, it would probably be something that's like I would want to be more connected to nature. Like I would, if I had no restraints at all, I'd be like, I don't know. I saw this show one time where they were like in Costa Rica, like building houses out of sustainable materials and like super connected with nature and like actually helping animals and finding sustainable ways to like grow food and that works in like so many other ways than just providing food. Like it really just being a part of the beautiful cycle of nature. That would kind of be where I would go and just helping the animals and the whole environment. So once you have all of that, I'm going to Costa Rica on Friday. Oh, Anna, take me with you. I'm gonna come in your suitcase. I'm gonna come sit in your suitcase. Okay, so take a minute and read what you just wrote. Everything that you just wrote from the sentence, from the sentence where you wrote, "If I could be, do, and have everything that I want, this would be my ideal situation." Read each category, what you wrote in each category, and really soak it in. Look at what you wrote and soak it in. So from those points, we're just doing a little bit more writing. From those points, write out 10 goals. Doesn't have to be like, you can again go back to them and add more detail to them, but write out like 10 goals. Um, Actually, before you write them, I want you to set yourself up for success. Write the 10 goals out in the form of like a present tense affirmation. So, for example, if one of your goals is to make a certain amount of money, you're going to write your goal something like, I now, so it's a present tense thing, I now make $10,000 a month doing XYZ. These are long term goals. So, write down 10 long term goals from those categories that you just wrote down. I'll give you just like a minute. You can pause this afterwards and like go back to it if you want to as well. When you're writing these goals though, I want you to make sure that they are true to you. They should reflect exactly what you desire, not what you think you should be doing to please others or um I guess mainly just please others. Really listen to your intuition and feel it in your bones. What is it that you desire? What are your 10 true long term goals? If you don't have 10, that's totally fine. Again, you can come back to this. From those 10, you're going to break it down a little bit. I want you to choose 5 of them and create short term goals from them. So, what can you do within this year to work towards building this life that you envision for yourself? We'll just kind of go over that because I kind of went a little quick. So we wrote out 6 categories. You wrote out a couple of points for each. From those points, these are desired things. From those points, you wrote out 10 goals. You're writing 10 goals, long term goals. And then from those 10, you want to write 5 short-term goals. And when you write the goals out, short-term and long-term, they need to be in present tense affirmations. So instead of saying, I'm going to do this, you want to say it as if it's already happened. I now make $10,000 a month. Okay? So now that we have 5, well, you will have 5 short-term goals and 10 long-term goals, all in affirmation form. You can use those affirmations every single day and use the pattern of EFT that I gave you and tap the affirmations on your on the rhythm that we went through and start creating this life that you envision. So in the mornings, if you can set aside 2 minutes, you could even do it while you're in bed. Have your affirmations written out on your phone and follow the meridian points and tap them into your body and really embody that manifestation energy. It's a great way to start your day. Okay, so from now until March, I think I have it as March 7th, the full moon. I'm gonna come back. We're gonna do a full moon class similar to this. So from now until the full moon, I want you to practice EFT with your affirmations. Take note if you can see a difference in how you go about your day. Take note if you see any roadblocks to those goals. You have these goals set, short term and long term. What are the roadblocks that are coming up to prevent you from meeting those goals? I want you to just take note of those kinds of things that come up throughout the day, throughout the week, from now until the full moon. And if you decide to join the full moon class, we're going to touch on working through those blocks and how to release them so that you can fully embody this magnetic energy and have no roadblocks. That's the goal, to get rid of the trauma, to get rid of the stress so that you can fully work towards those goals without any limitations. So now that we kind of set goals and learned how to welcome in the new energy with gratitude and love and building self-trust, there's a few things that you can do um, tonight and tomorrow to emphasize this manifestation with some moon rituals. You usually have to do the rituals within like the 3 days of the moon phase. That's when it's kind of like the most amount of energy to produce these rituals. So, some things that I like to do are things like writing down goals, which we just did. If you have any crystals, set them out to charge at a windowsill under the moonlight. Um, I really like to set out moon water. This is one of the things that I love to do. You can grab a jar, a cup, or like a jug and fill it with water, place it under the moon, either again at a window or you can put it outside if it's not too cold. Probably won't want to put it out now, it might freeze. But there's so many ways that you can do that you can utilize this water. You can use it to mop the floors to welcome, cleanse the old energy and welcome new energy. You can drink it to again cleanse yourself, banish any negative energy, and really set in your intentions. You can wash your hair with it, sit in the bath with it, throw it in like the bathtub. Um, you can use it in your bong. That's a good one. That's actually weed is a great manifesting tool. Um, Under the new moon, there's like certain ways you can roll it to banish and certain way to roll it and to bring in. I'll have to figure it out. I forget what the trick is. There's also if you grind it counterclockwise. If you're grinding your weed, ground it counterclockwise to banish and clockwise to manifest. Yes, these are great tools. Yeah, you can use it in your bong too, the water. It's again, you're really infusing is really all about intention. It comes down to you have to do a class on that. Wow, Neil info. Anna, you can host it with me. So it's really all about setting intention. Whatever you use these tools for, it's all about your intention. The intention has to be set around cleansing, banishing, and setting positive intentions. There's also a few money ones that you can do. I'm gonna go do this tonight too. Grab some cash. If you have cash, place it on your windowsill. You can also use your wallet. So you're gonna place either cash or your wallet on your windowsill to charge under the moonlight. You can either spend the cash to urge it to multiply. So charge it tonight, spend it tomorrow to urge it to multiply. When you do spend it, make sure you repeat, this money will come back to me in tenfold. You can do that, or you can keep it on the windowsill, either your money or your wallet, keep them on the windowsill and visualize it growing with the moon and leave it there until the full moon. So visualize the like a stack of cash just growing beside your window. Visualize like your wallet getting fatter beside the window and keep it there until the full moon. So spend it or leave it there. So that about wraps it up. Those two money exercises are great ways to visualize money and really create like a new perception on abundance because when you have one bill, like one $5 bill, and you just envision it getting stacked and stacked and stacked. You're envisioning all this like stack of money, you're envisioning your wallet growing. It gives you a good perception around abundance and how easy it is to really grow your money in ways of opening up, your limitations, right? Okay, so that's it for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you have anything you want to share in the chat, I'm open to any feedback. You can also send me an email. If you have any other manifestations, any moon rituals that you want to share, feel free to open that in the chat. And I would really love to see you guys in the next one and hear how your manifestation is going. So, if you have any questions about EFT or anything that I can help with, please reach out. Again, you can email me or send me a message on Instagram. I would love to hear from you. So, thanks for joining tonight and happy manifesting.